know how they go to the bathroom in Egypt? They have something called a Turkish toilet, which is essentially a hole in the ground with tile around it. And it's actually quite clean because you don't have to touch anything. If you can squat, it's much cleaner than anything else that you can experience. But if you have sunglasses and you squat, you have to make sure that you hold on to your sunglasses. So one thing that I remember was trying to figure out how to get my sunglasses out of a Turkish toilet. And I was in Egypt. The sun is very strong there. And I was a poor student. So that was one thing I remember. In the smoking, everybody smokes. So being on buses for like 12 hours with people smoking and getting into fights with people because you pay extra for this non-smoking bus. And they're like, nobody pays attention to those rules here. It wasn't a funny story, but one thing that really amazed me about Egypt was just the sheer size of the pyramids. They are amazing, and if you ever get a chance to go to Egypt, you should, because it blew me away how big they were. I was not prepared for that. But when we went to the Great Pyramids of Giza, about halfway up, you're not supposed to climb them. And there was this, I don't know if I told you guys this story, but there was this Australian tourist that had clearly been traveling a little too long. And so he's up in the middle, and there's a guard below him, and he's like, please, sir, please come down. And this Australian guy is standing there screaming, I'm not going to give you any more bakshish. And bakshish, in Egypt, it's like a combination of a bribe and a tip, and it's expected. It's expected that you will give somebody bakshish for everything. And this guy was he just lost it. And he was up on this pyramid, he was just screaming, and my husband and I were looking up at him, and we're like, when we get to that point, it's time to go home. I had one student who wasn't even my student. He was just a kid that was walking by, and he threw something at somebody. And I said, hey, you can't do that. You cannot throw anything. And he got in my face and was like, this was right after Columbine, you have to remember. So it was like in my face and was like pushing up against me, and it scared me. It really scared me. And so I got another teacher, and I was a male teacher, and I said, I need you to help me get this kid to the office. And he was between us, and he was like pushing the kid away. I don't know if the kid was on drugs. I don't know what his problem was, but I was right before, it was right before Mother's Day, and I just had Finn, and I was thinking, that kid is going to come back and shoot me. Like, I was so upset, I couldn't even drive home. I had to have somebody come and pick me up, and I just remember thinking, that kid's going to shoot me. That kid's going to come in and blow me away. I'm not going to live to see Mother's Day. That was probably the scaredest I've ever been. That, and there was a bomb scare. We had a pretty serious lockdown drill, which you guys probably don't remember because I don't even know if you were born yet, but that was scary. That school, there were some, there were moments where I was, because it's a big school, and there were some angry people. Yeah. That was actually really interesting because I grew up in the Cold War, at the end of the Cold War, and like I've told you guys, when we've been talking about the Cold War, I was always kind of trained to think of the Soviet Union, the Soviets, as our enemy. We did the drills of the nuclear bombs when I was a kid. Ronald Reagan in Orange County, where I grew up, was kind of seen as the saint who saved us from various Soviet premiers. So in '89, I think it was '89 when the Berlin Wall fell, and then shortly after when the Soviet Union opened, it was, I'm trying to think of something, it was almost like, when Barack Obama was elected and everyone was like, wow, there's like a shift, like it's not just, a white male that's been elected to president. It's like something shifted, something changed. And all of a sudden it was like, wow, the Soviets aren't enemies anymore. It was a whole paradigm shift, essentially. We had to think about what that meant for these people that you always had to consider your quote-unquote enemy. And we had an exchange student that we had hosted my family from Germany, named Stefan, and he sent us a chunk of the Berlin Wall, which you guys probably don't know much about, but it kind of symbolized the Cold War. It was an actual physical wall that separated East Germany and West Germany, and the Germans, when the wall fell, like physically took it down with sledgehammers, and it was this big, powerful symbol, like the Cold War is ending. And I remember watching that as a freshman in college. It kind of gives me chills to think about it now, because it was a big shift in the way we thought about the world. The world wasn't just divided in these two superpowers. And that's exciting and really scary at the same time.
Hi, my name is Jacob Mills.
Hi, my name is Jordan Turner.
Hi, my name is Allison Higginbotham. My name is Jessie Marshall.
I'm Greta Nyman.